Ladies and gentlemen, good evening again. This is the day 2 of the 10-day FTP program. And today we have Dr. Vijay Solomon with us, and the Journal Selection 2.0 is the topic for the day. Sir, the floor is yours, and we are willing to learn more from you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm very happy to continue our discussion on the journal selection. Yesterday, we had a session on journal selection 1.0. So now we will be, talking about the journal selection 2.0. So my main focus is on how to kickstart the research process. If you are naive to research, or if you're really struggling to, get the journals, you have to really look at that, what can be done. So I'm going to cover some of the practical aspects, which eventually, you feel that some of the points may be up to you, can adapt to that. Yes, you can adapt. Sometimes it is just boiling over your shoulder, just leave it, no problem, because it's like practical that the technique that worked for me may not work for you, but the technique work for you may not be work for me. So definitely we can have all those strategies with the examples, and then, we will see that. The first thing is, it is well known that poor experimentation cannot be masked by brilliant writing. Agree? How many of you say agree? If you did not do a good work, and then, you cannot, make up that, work or mask by the brilliant writing. On the other hand, if your poor writing can mask brilliant experimentation, your work is too good, but if you cannot write it in a right way, if the work is too good, but if you could not project it in the way it should be projected, then, yeah, very sorry, it is very difficult to get the publication. It is a process, it is a learning, right? So this is very, very important. Every researcher should be aware of this. So we need to have a good writing style. We need to have the good work. The 10-day FTP is concentrating on various nuances of writing and publishing. So we really want to share our experience, and we really want to encourage you to write it right. Okay. Now, some of the practical aspects I would like to share. When we say that problems in selecting a journal, this is personal my experience. I have been working in this particular field, or I would say that MCC Research Colloquium, for the past 5 years, interacting with a number of faculty members. MCC has reached, more than 10,000 faculty members across the country, and a lot of, issues associated with selecting a journal. Let me share some of the practical, dialogues that I got. The first thing that people used to do that, tell me a journal that can accept my article. They will tell that they are just very, optimistic. They said, tell me a journal that can accept my article. So they never, ever ready to face rejection, only acceptance. Okay, I don't know how many of you have thought about it. The second point is, I am writing a paper. I want to get it published by next Friday. No, very sorry. We cannot publish a paper within a short time. It will take a longer time. So you need to have a better planning. If you say that I want to submit my synopsis, I want to submit my thesis, and I really want to get my paper done within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 days, next Friday, very sorry. Quick publication, eradicate from your mind. I have 20 PG dissertations with me. Can you help me in publishing them? So they think that the thesis, the dissertation that I have accumulated from, guiding students for about 10 years, I have every soft copy. No, we cannot publish thesis as such. If you have written a thesis, converting thesis into publication is very difficult, or a thesis into manuscript is very difficult. But on the other hand, it is easy. If you have asked your students to write the manuscript, and then it is easy for us to convert that into a publication, but not the other way around. There is no ready-made content. Is it tough to get a Scopus publication? The first thing is, no. For us, we are okay with UGC care. When UGC care was there, I used to say that, is it tough to get a Scopus publication? We always have a small, element of doubt that no, my paper or my work is not that good. Fear of trying out is the issue. I'll show some of my publication, how that came into realization. Scopus publications demand a lot of money. Yesterday, we have seen that. And many people are still asking, so tell me a journal which will ask for less money. If you are paying 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakh. If it is not indexed, all your money is being wasted in the predatory journals. So never ever think of paying and getting a paper. If you pay, make sure that it is an indexed journal. So that is very, very important. So many journals for science, very limited for arts. We'll see that, oh, sorry, very poor awareness about that. Yesterday, we have demonstrated that, yes, you have a lot of journals for each domain. I don't know how many of you have gone back and then checked that how many journals that you have. These are some of the common things that I, encountered when I interact with the patient. It is taking a longer time to hear it from the journals, especially when you say Scopus Index. It is taking 1 year, 2 years. Yes, I agree. It will take a longer time, but it is worth. It will take a longer time, but it is worth. You need to be very clear and very prepared. If you want to submit your thesis by next March, probably I would suggest you should wind up all your work by this March and give at least 1 year space for your 5 papers to be submitted. And we can say that at least 2 will be accepted. If the work is, good. If your work is not good, very sorry, you cannot come up with that. We'll have a day 3, day 4, day 5 sessions on different aspects of writing, and you will be seeing that. Now, today's talk, these are just a prelude that I would like to give. And then today's talk, I would like to talk about the recap of what we have seen yesterday. And then we jumped into clone journal, some of the examples, some trips. Then I would like to concentrate mostly on practical aspects, how we can start thinking of writing a paper for a journal, right? Okay, so this is a recap. I said index journals, Scopus and Web of Science. Those who have joined a little bit later, I just want to give a recap. There are 2 indexing databases. One is Scopus and Web of Science. There are databases, global databases. They index journals. Journals publish articles. Journals are owned by publishers, right? And if the journals are having the name in national, international, global world, you need to be careful because most of the journals are predatory in nature. And then if you look at the multidisciplinary, if the journal scope is multidisciplinary and it is combining with like commerce, economics, computer science, arts, science, humanities, engineering, technology, and science and technology, you need to be very careful, especially when they charge. If they charge, and if you see the multidisciplinary, you have to be double careful. Then I said that European Journal of Advanced Chemistry operating from Madurai, or like American Journal of Statistics operating from Noida, you need to be very careful. The location in developing countries, and they claim their address in US or UK. I said abuse of committee and publication ethics. This is very, very important because whenever you see that the journal accepts paper in a very quick time, then they are violating the publishing standards and ethical standards. If there are no peer review, then they are not journals. I agree, right? I agree with, many people are telling that, sir, this is an international standard journal. They will give quick response. No, it will take some time because the peers will be reviewing your paper and critically analyze your results. So it will take time. So quick publication, avoiding the COPE guidelines. There are so many impact factors: general impact factor, global impact factor, science impact factor, Cosmos impact factor, and so on. And you have to go to Web of Science and check whether they are indexed under 4 categories. What are the 4 categories? Can anyone unmute and tell the 4 categories that we mentioned yesterday? Come on. Science Citation Index expanded, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, Social Science Citation Index, and Emerging Source Citation Index. So these 4 categories, journals are entitled to have impact factor. And all other journals which are not part of the Web of Science, if they claim impact factor, they are considered as a fake journal. In scientific name, predatory journals. When you have a lot of indexing practices, you need to be very careful to look at that, whether you have Scopus or Web of Science. Right? You have to check that. And even if they proclaim that, you have to go and check whether they are really indexed or not. All these things we have seen. I'm just, brushing through what we have witnessed yesterday. Then any journal which is telling that we accept article within a short span of time. We accept article in 3 days, 4 days, 1 day, 2 days, 48 hours, 72 hours. Very sorry, you need to be very careful. If they are not ready to disclose their identity in the form of their contact details, yeah, you need to be very careful, because most probably or 100% they will be the predatory journal. So if their journal is original or legitimate, then they will be happy to show their contact address and so on. So lack of contact details is one of the issues. One publisher, too many journals. And we have seen some of the examples. Right? So when a predatory publisher is having a large number of a collection of journals, you need to be very careful. But publishing industries such as Elsevier, Springer, Taylor and Francis, they have journals in thousands. Yesterday, we witnessed around 4,800 journals are there, which are indexed by Scopus, that are published by Elsevier. Springer, 3,000 odd journals. Sage, 2,000 journals, and so on. So publishing industry is absolutely fine because they have the reputation. Whenever you get an email, you need to be very careful, because call for papers through email, it's a junk email. It's like we have seen one case where Journal of Neurological Disorders sent a junk email to me. So similarly, you will be getting a lot of emails, simply delete it. Never ever try to respond to that, because you will be easily doomed by that. Okay. All these things are fine. So this is a quick recap of what we have seen yesterday. And I hope you have started doing the assignment. Probably we have enough time. 15th is the last day to submit the assignment of the day 1 and day 2 and so on. So you have ample time. You spend some time, meaningfully go through and complete the assignment, so that you will have better learning and better takeaways from here. Okay, day 2. I'm going to talk about the clone journals. And the name clone journals is given when the journal, the journal is being created in the website for the original journal, or like cloned is an Indianized term. In international term, it is called hijack journal, like hijack journal. So clone journals are hijack journals. Those journals' web pages are a counterfeit mirror of an authentic journal that exploit the title and ISSN of a legitimate journals. I agree. In many aspects, like people are very naive to distinguish that. We will take one particular aspect. I want to take, you to this particular website, and then we will see that the website is. I type Strad Research in Google. Okay, how many of you see that? It's a Strad Research. It's like UGC, HEA recognized journal, Web of Science group, and ISSN. Scroll down, you have the ISSN page. And then scroll down, you have Strad Research is a leading high quality, open access, and peer reviewed monthly published research journal. Okay. Subject areas you see here: arts, banking, biomedical, biology, business, commerce, corporate governance, clinical. It's like alphabetically they are arranged. Can you see that? You see here organizational psychology, philosophy, pharmaceutical science, public administration, religious studies, rural India, and so on, tourism and management, and visual, and they miss the communication. Right? And scroll down. They said this is a HEA recognized journal, multidisciplinary, and they have given a UGC CARE link, and submission last date, you can submit anytime, and acceptance is 48 hours, and then publication frequency is 12 issues per year. Scroll down, UGC logo. So how do you see this journal? Can we pick this journal? Can we pick this journal? What is your thought? You can just use the chat box. Can we pick the journal? Oh, no, very good. Okay. But they're just simply given that, right? So now I know I'll just make you can unmute, just to give the answer. But they have given a YouTube video. Let us watch, and then you have to unmute and you can ask. The video doesn't have any voice or sound. So they are just going to the Google. They said UGC CARE because it was active at that time. You have to go to login. They have created email ID for us, careugc@gmail.com. And then they have given toughest password in the world, 1, 2, 3, 4, forever. And the machine is asking us to verify that we are human. Once it is verified, it is taking us to the Web of Science Group 2. Science citation index expanded. And look at that. You see, they are just going to the Web of Science, and then they type the ISSN, search, and you see that the journal is there. Okay, so I stopped here, and then you can unmute and you can tell all the indications that we have seen in the last session is there, but still it is Web of Science indexed. Can anyone unmute and you can give your explanation?
Maybe it's a hyperlink to the respective websites. Maybe they can be used as a hyperlink. Like we can use create link through Bitly, right? So maybe one of the chance I'm just telling that maybe it's an option.
Okay. But this is directly from UGC CARE website. And basically you can also go and search. Shall we do that? I'm just, instead of this, I'm going to Web of Science and I want to see that. Yesterday we have seen that. So others can also give your comment. That's fine, absolutely fine. We can discuss, no problem. I just want to go and see that what can be done. This ISSN is 0039. Yeah, you have seen exact match found. So now,
Sir,
yeah,
what we have seen here in the Web of Science website is the actual journal, not the
okay,
cloned one. But what we have found earlier is Strad research. So
okay.
that's the cloned.
Yeah, so good. The good observation is like, thank you, Yuvraj. It's like Strad is the exact match, but this journal is called Strad Research. So can you find the problem where the problem is? Not only that, if you look at that, Strad is published, it is from England, right? But this Strad is having UGC logo. I strongly feel the British left us in 1947, right? While a journal from England is worrying about UGC CARE. Number two, this particular journal doesn't have a EISSN, which means this journal is a print version. And somebody in India has created a website for this particular journal. Most importantly, Web of Science core collection is Arts and Humanities Citation Index. Arts and Humanities Citation Index. But here, if you look at that, this journal accepts paper from arts, banking, biomedical, biology, and then clinical research, home science, history, geography, pharmaceutical, philosophy, social welfare, tourism management, and so on. And more importantly, this is multidisciplinary. What I cautioned yesterday, multidisciplinary loan. Right? So the point here is they have created a YouTube link and YouTube video, and they said that, yeah, we proclaim that we are indexed. So this is a case that we encounter a lot in Madras Christian College. When we gave awareness about Scopus and Web of Science and so on, many people, they realize that, oh, fine, it should be in Scopus and it should be in Scopus and Web of Science. But they actually being fooled by these things. You see that it's very similar, like, they have given their evidence that they are there, they are giving the link. But one thing they don't understand is like the publication is in 48 hours. So this is what we really need to look at it. Not whether that is indexed or not. You really need to know. It's like multidisciplinary and so on. And if you look at that, if you pay 3,000 rupees, you can get the article here. So if I just want to go and click that 2025, okay, issue 1 or issue 2, let's see how many papers they published. 21 papers into 3,000 rupees, 66,000 rupees. But this is very famous in 2020 or 21. You find that per issue, you can find that how many papers they accept. Nearly 71. There are issues where they accept 300 articles. 300 articles into 3,000. Let's count that. Right? So this we call, there is a cloned journal or hijacked journal. Okay. So can we just go back to presentation? So this is what we really need to look at that. And UGC has listed some. You see that UGC has given something on Abru. It's a Punjabi journal, and they just tagged the name Abru Journal, and then they created a website. And then the next one is Adhigam. It's like Hindi journal, and they add International Journal of Hindi Research. Then they said publishing language Hindi and Marathi, and they created a website. So since it is in Marathi, probably we can think somebody from Maharashtra has created that. So UGC listed around 40 to 50 journals in this particular cloned journal list. The reason is most of the journals in UGC CAR, okay, or like most of the journals were listed in UGC CAR are, printed version, which means they have only print version. So most of the time what happens here, somebody is in Tamil Nadu is coming up with a lot of print version. They'll print and then they'll distribute. And you believe that your paper is published in the original journal, which is from Maharashtra, but that is not the case. So like that, that's a scam was there. That's what I mentioned, that Strad Research, UGC CAT Group 2 Journal, Web of Sites, and so on. And this is what that website. Now, the other one, you see that Infocra Research and UGC CAR approved Group 2 journal. And I say that this is a very common one because many people started realizing that Group 1, Group 2 of this UGC CAR. Then you see that it's a Scopus index till 2014. So what does it mean? So this journal was originally from Scopus and it is discontinued from Scopus, and somebody is in India revived this journal. How Lord Jesus Christ resurrected from dead after 3 years. Somebody has resurrected this particular journal. They said that Infocra Research. Okay. And then they have given a video, and this is nothing but how their paper, their journal is featured in UGC CAR and then Scopus. Then you see here, Bhutan, Jishan, Jishu, probably a Chinese and so on. Look at the UGC logo, impact factor 5.5, multidisciplinary, right? And then email is a Gmail, and UGC CAR Group 2, active journal. So these are the keywords you need to really look at that. Whenever you find that UGC CAR Group 2, active journal, multidisciplinary, need to be very careful. This you see that UGC CAR approved Group 2, multidisciplinary, UGC logo, 6.1 impact, and then Scopus index till 1998. Okay. And then all these websites now have the YouTube videos. You see here again another video. It's like the 6.3, the International Journal of Analytical and Experimental Model Analysis, UGC CAR approved Group 2. And if you look at that, the Scopus indexed till 1992. So then you see that list 2 and so on. So what I did, I went to YouTube and I searched that UGC CAR Group 2, all the lists that, are lined up. And eventually I published a paper with this in an international journal. And I said that how people in India are being fooled by these things. I shared the content in our GCR this morning, breaking free from academic scams. And that is an opinion piece that I wrote, that entire article that I wrote within 2 days. And it got published. Okay, so this is again group 2, Scopus indexed, UGC logo, UGC approved, impact factor 5.7. All these things are indication. In addition to, you have a YouTube video. Now, look at that. This one, if you look at that, what are the elements that you think of? You can unmute and you can ask that, you can just tell that what you can do. Yeah, I made you to unmute. What are things?
Email ID, Gmail.
Email ID is a Gmail, but that is a yesterday's story. What is the important stuff?
That interdisciplinary, sir.
That is
Journal
also
of
yesterday's story. Interdisciplinary. Okay, fine. You
Scopus
see that the
Scopus index till 1995.
that is the point. Scopus index till 1993, which means somebody would have revived it. Okay, then
UGC approved journal.
Yes, UGC CARE approved group 2. Okay, then you see that that's a video. UGC logo. If it is a video is there, it's fake. Okay. And then whenever the journal is giving UGC group 2, you have username and password, you go and check. You don't want to give anything, but acceptance status in 24 hours. You'll see this. Again, you see what are things? This is like multidisciplinary, group 2, then this journal, and then a YouTube video. And you can see that can you follow the template that everyone is having here? Then this one again in the front, UGC group 2 active. And the entire paper that I wrote is with our simple idea. If the journal is having UGC CARE group 2, it is fake. If the journal is having YouTube video, it is fake. That's it. The entire paper that I wrote, it is there in the GCR.
Even they have a sample certificate also, sir, for that particular website. Certificate.
Yes. You have all these things. You can just explore them. This is another journal. You see that you can just list. There are a lot of journals, around 350 journals. I don't want to bore with you with all these things, but I have given some interesting cases in the assignment. Go and play with it. And you can also, give some of the clone journals. If you have come across, you can just share it with me. It's good. Now, coming to this particular website, this is like something great. Okay. Can you just unmute and you can tell that, what are things that you see here, or potentially you need to be very careful and watchful.
Monthly publishing journal.
Yes, ma'am.
Monthly publishing journal.
Monthly publishing journal. Yeah, there may be but that is not the case. Monthly, there may be issue. It's okay. Fine.
Acceptance 1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days. Yeah, it's
and
fake.
publish your
Lowest
paper within
processing
48
charge.
hours.
Yes. So more importantly, if you look at that,
also multidisciplinary.
Yes, multidisciplinary.
Management, science and technology management.
Yes.
They will publish the paper within 48 hours and it has the lowest processing charge.
Yes. Okay.
The impact factor is 6.3.
Yeah, 6.3. Right? Okay, good. Now you're all expert in dealing with all these things. Thank you. So,
Sir, the logo.
Their logo is there.
Yes. But the interesting thing is, I said about that, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So the interesting thing is, if you have a video, if not, it is like a snapshot, right? So this is another interesting case where you see the Journal of Electronics, Information Technology, Science and Management. You look at the title, Journal of Electronics, Information Technology, Science and Management. I said that it's a broad coverage. Never ever pick that. Okay. Now that is very, very important. And now if you look at that particular journal I've gone through. Now what we can do that, we'll just go and do a demo of this. I'll just click that. We'll go to this particular journal and then see that. Yeah, I think this is taking time. So let me take that. That is there. Yeah. Now, if you look at that, I said that it's a Scopus UGC CARE Group 2 journal. And here you have Journal of Electronic Information and so on. Scroll down. They have given this detail, and then you look at that. It's like Elsevier logo, UGC logo, all logos. You need to be very careful. But this is very, very important. They said that Scopus and then Journal of Electronic Information Technology, Science and Management, and 1999 to present. Okay, yes. But the next slide is very important. Now, if you look at that, this particular slide, this is a UGC CARE slide. So they mentioned that it is part of UGC CARE and it is a part of the Scopus. How come this is two? Like it is part of this, part of that. Did we, think about that? It's a part of the UGC CARE and part of the Scopus. That is not possible, right? Either it should be UGC CARE or it should be Scopus. Right. So what I did that, I went to the Scopus and then see that this is the snapshot that they have given. Okay. So the snapshot tells that this journal is part of the Scopus from 1999 to present. And this is Scopus information. But I went and I typed the same journal name. And then what I found is zeros. Now tell me what exactly happened here. Yeah, you can unmute now and you can talk. What exactly happened here? Yes? Any guess?
Sir, maybe they have blatantly copied the same information of another authentic journal and pasted it that from so and so to till date.
No, sir. Actually, this journal name is there and the journal is not there in Scopus. But they claim that it is in Scopus. They have given the snapshot.
So it might not have likely been revived?
No revive, no revision, because if it is like there in the Scopus for some time, it will be there. And then it will say it is discontinued.
So just by looking at that one, we take it for granted and move on. I mean, just
no.
sir.
No.
Photoshop, sir.
Yes, this is a world of Photoshop. This is a Photoshop. The moment that you identify journals which are giving projection that we are Scopus Index, this is our certificate, it is a fake. Mark my words. If they proclaim themselves with some certificate, fake. That is what happened here. They actually did a Photoshop. Right? And then more importantly, they have also given a snapshot called we are part of UGC CARE. Right? But you look at that, what is the UGC CARE? They said that Journal of Electronics, Information Technology, Science and Management. If you look at that. And then publication language. I know I'm not very sure whether it is Bengali or Hindi or some other language, I don't know. But this like regional language, they have given that and print only. But most importantly, this is important. UGC coverage from 1999 onwards. UGC came into existence only in 2019. Even before UGC CARE came into picture 20 years ago, they pushed this Photoshop. How come a journal is a part of the UGC CARE and the Scopus? If Scopus and Web of Science, then it is a part of the UGC CARE. They will not have explicit domain like that. But this journal, with this particular aspect, they looted a lot of money.
So also this
regional language is Marathi.
Yeah, it is given literature and literary theory, sir, in this.
Yeah, yes.
And
Because
whereas you're saying that it's on electronics, information technology, science and management.
But with this evidence, people are coming and claiming for an award. I just underlined this. All these slides, I encountered with many people. Yeah. Okay. So, but we were highly unaware of all these things. That is a point that I would like to driving. Okay, fine. Now, this is another one. This is again the case like journal for basic science. Then whenever you come across some journal with something like Greek and Latin, like French or Chinese name and so on, you need to be very careful. Most probably, or I would say 100%, it is a clone journal. We cannot publish in Chinese language journals and so on. So this is like, again, this is a Elsevier and then group 2 link and all other things. It is a clear indication that it is a clone journal. So yesterday we were talking about the predatory journal. Then now we are talking about the clone journal, hijack journal. Now look at that, this one, publication, your projects and scopus. You see that the language, publication, your projects and scopus index journal. And they said that Scopus indexed UGC CAT Group 2 journal, he will publish current issues and backdated issues. No, if any email that you get, it is fake. No Scopus or Web of Science journals are in drawn. They used to get a lot of papers that they can actually accommodate. Okay. Now, the similar way you can say that it is like Scopus and then it's like within 48 hours after receiving the publication fee. All these journals are working towards getting money, looting money from the researchers. And they say that backdated issues, no backdated issues. We cannot play with that, right? So again, there are a lot of email journals that are there. I just gave you. Now, this is another interesting one. If you look at that, this is like JournalInnovations.com. If you look at that, this particular website, JournalInnovation.com, and then it is there. It is there in the Scopus and it was discontinued. So you see here 102 articles, 4 years it is 87 articles. But if you look at that, this particular journal has volume 70, 170, 69 and 68. So 4 years they publish 100 articles, probably 1 year they publish 25 articles. But each of the issue has more than 100 articles. So within 4 years, they said that the original journal publishes only 20 or 25 articles per year. But here, each year, they publish more than 400 articles. So you need to be very careful. The point here is, whenever you find a journal in Scopus, go to Scopus content coverage, or Scopus site score, and check how many papers, they publish in a year. So this is very, very important, because when you know about all these things, you can just get that, okay, if suppose this journal is publishing nearly 25 articles, go and check the journal website, how many articles actually the journal published in this year. If the journal is accepting articles in bulk, what do you mean by bulk? If an issue has more than 20 articles, you need to be very careful. I repeat, if the journal has an issue with more than 20 articles, you need to be very careful. You just think about that. You cannot accommodate 500 articles, 600 articles in an issue, even though it is digital. No, that is not the case. Premier journals will have a check. They will have the capacity of accepting 20 articles per issue. That's on average. Some of the premier journals will accept only 3 to 4 articles. Okay, so this is very, very important. Now, there are other things. I said that Scopus and UGC CAT Group 2. These are the terms that you can, if the email comes to you, just delete it. Okay. Now, this is another journal. You can find that whenever the journal is showing something and Elsevier logo, right? And then UGC Group 2 and all these things, you need to be very careful, because you cannot accommodate these things in your, part of your publication. So this is very, very important. Now, whenever you come across the journal active and other thing, the other one that I really want you to look at it, whenever they give username and password for UGC CAT, whenever you have a Gmail, Group 2, you need to be very careful, right? So this is very, very important. So whenever you have that, you just make sure that whether you carefully look at all these small things. Now, this is the other one. If you look at that, it's like, again, all the elements are there. And then they will be giving like the details. You see that lowest processing charges, 100% electronic submission. Author can search article by author name, okay, title or keyword, and then Scopus active link and so on. If these details are given, it's fake. Certificate, okay. This is very famous because if you look at that, most of the journals, okay, this is like one of the Journal of Education from Rabindra Bharati University. The journal is the original legitimate journal, but somebody has started printing out this journal from Tamil Nadu, and then they started distributing the certificate. And the certificate has UGC logo. And then it says 5.8 impact. How come UGC CARE will have a 5.8 impact factor? And then sign another thing. But this particular website from this particular university clearly stated that we never ever ask money for papers. So the point is, you should not pay and publish. Now, there are conferences available. This is like, many people have looked at a lot of money. When a conference comes, then they will approach the organizer and they will say that, yeah, we will accept your paper. We will publish in UGC CARE. It's like 5,000 or 3,000 and so on. This is advertisement. You see that? It's like students, scholars and so on. Peer-reviewed journal. It's free. What do you mean by peer-reviewed? Pay. And book chapter 1,500. And UGC CARE depends on journal. Scopus depends on journal. If you think that I can go to the conference and I can publish my work, no, very sorry. And then they said that, yeah, this is my, snapshot I just made. I said, you could have informed me much earlier so that I could have, alerted you. Now you see that there are a lot of journals, and most commonly you see that 7.75. Then this is like 7.3 in the same one, same journal with a lot of publication. It's like erpublications.com. So you need to be very careful with the impact factor. But if you look at that, 1,500 rupees per article for Indian authors, 50 USD, free certificates for all authors, free DOI. What is DOI? What is DOI?
Date of issue.
No date of issue. DOI.
Digital ID.
Yeah, digital object identifier. So all those digital documents will have the DOI. DOI, you can get it for any document, but that is not the quality of the article. Right? So people say, sir, this has DOI. So what? That is not the quality. That will not determine the quality of the article. So this is very famous in, at least in Tamil Nadu, I would say that. Probably around like Tamil Nadu faculty members would have lost probably around 5 crores to this particular journal. Not this journal. People use this journal name and then they looted the money. Journal of Oriental Institute, publisher Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. This was listed in UGC CARE. And if you look at that, the UGC CARE, it tells that this is a religious studies. But you look at that, people from commerce, economics, computer science, English, Tamil, and so on, everybody, they published here. Okay. So this is very, very important. That university is having the journal for the religious studies, but somebody has some, publishing house from here. They just print all these things, mostly through conferences. Now, this is another interesting case. One of the faculty members came to me and then showed that, sir, I published in this one and this should be considered for the cash incentive given by the college. And I said, sir, this is UGC CARE, but you see that, publication language is Bengali, but your article is in English. Then he came back after 5 minutes. Sir, I inquired that this journal is publishing in Bengali, but this is special issue, sir. I said, we are educated person. With this evidence, they are coming without reading that which journal, which language is this. This is another one. You look at that, this is listed in UGC CARE, but we identified that. It's like Purakala. It's like, you can see that this publisher is Rock Art Society of India. And it is a printed version and no website is there. You just look at that, some website is there. So we, appeal that, because one of the faculty members firmly said, no, how dare you are to tell that this is not a UGC CARE journal. We are very firm. So we, from Madras Christian College Deanery, we wrote an email to the editor of the original journal. Okay, and then we have given the journal and the list and other thing, and please check that. We got a reply. Dear sir, thank you very much for your email. It is to inform you that Purakala, the Journal of Rock Art Society of India, is completely devoted to for the promotion of scientific research on rock art heritage of India. Hence, we don't entertain research papers from other disciplines. If you are multidisciplinary, fake, right? So secondly, our journal is published annually in a hard copy. Most of the UGC journals will have only one issue per year, and they will accept only 5 to 8 articles in the issue. Therefore, the article you have mentioned might have been published in a clone journal of Purakala. Thank you very much. When we show this, then only the faculty, realize that, oh, we have done a mistake. But we have encountered many such cases, and we could prove that because it challenges that our integrity, right? So we are very vigilant in our mechanism of scrutinizing the research publications, right? And then this, like some of the journals in UGC, they said that when you click that journal, you see that there will be a username and password. But there is no provision for us to enter. So they use the name, they created a website, and if you give any data, then only you will deal that, okay, this is nice or wrong. This website will have only user login, username and password, and you will not create username and password, but the website is there. With that, they looted a lot of money. Now, you see that the one, you can look at that. This journal is the regional journal and then Hindi and so on. But all articles will be in English. Now, this is another interesting one. So I can just take this website. Just a minute. Yeah. So I'm taking you to a journal that we have seen. It's a Strad Research. And so a study on block, okay, website blocker, right? So can you see this one? Yes. The author names are there. This is from University from Pune. And page number, the DOI. What is DOI? Digital Object Identifier. So if I click that, it is taking us to the paper. Now you look at that, what you are seeing here. Yeah. Can you unmute and tell what you are seeing here? It is a thesis, right? You just scroll down. It is a shame for the university, shame for the guide, shame for the student. And the thesis is being just accepted as a paper.
So even the university name seems dubious. Please show the university name.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not from Pune, but that is there.
Yeah, even the university name seems dubious. Whether it even exists, we don't know.
We don't know. But actually, this is a guide name and other things are there.
I've not heard of the Innovation University.
Okay, I think that, Ajinkia DY Patil University. Maybe the nickname is Innovation University. They may be really innovative in publishing theses like that.
Sir, DY Patil is actually a famous college, sir, in Pune. It has got a lot of branches. It's an engineering college, but they are actually registered under University of Pune. But I don't know how this is being.
I don't know. No. Yeah, that's fine. But the point here is, this is one aspect that we really feel shame. The other aspect is, look at the DOI. It is a drive, Google Drive. Can you identify this Google Drive? Can you see?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes. Google Drive. Do you have any questions?
Even the roll numbers look dubious. Can you see the roll numbers 2020M, 2021M? We don't know where they were just generated randomly or what.
I don't know, but this particular journal is working for money only, right? But the point is drive. They have the drive. You see here, they have the drive here as a Google Drive. So which means if the Google Drive is over, they will delete this link and then the paper will be disappeared from the site, right? So this is a very, very, very important issue. If it is a predatory journal, at least you will have that, you know, my paper is published in predatory journal. The journal is predatory and you will have something to say. But if it is a clone journal, you cannot even claim, right? So that is an important thing. And now we look at that. The other one is Shadab Books. Okay. So this journal is like, you see that the publishing language is Marathi, Shadab publication. But if you look at the website, it has all English articles. The articles are in English. You look at that, the big university, big colleges, and all these things are invariably, whether it is from the tier 2 city, tier 1 city, or the rural, everybody is invariably doomed by these journals. All articles are English. Please look at that. And then this is like some of the publishing services are now coming up that say that you give, you know, your papers we will publish. And they are very, I would say that they are very professional. They said that, okay, if the journal, if it is not published, you don't want to make a payment. Very genuine in that, it seems. But never ever give your work to anyone you publish. Okay. And this we have seen yesterday that IQAC is promoting 7.3 with 500 rupees. There are some of the call for papers in Scopus or some of the advertisements in the LinkedIn. And you can look at it in Facebook, Insta, Twitter, WhatsApp, all these things, you have to stay away from that. That is my suggestion. Now, how many of you know about this? I don't know, but it is very popular. And this particular person has played for India in a match. It's a like World Cup for the people, handicapped people. That was happened in England, and then he won the match, and then he got appreciation from the chief minister. Later realized that there was no such match, and he is not a player. He doesn't have a passport, and he never played for India, and this cup is a fake one. Even a common man can go and cheat a chief minister. That happens. So when you pick a journal, you have to be very careful in analyzing that, how to pick your journal in a wise way. Now, what we have seen is a cautious, whatever that I have shown, that you need to be very careful with that. But hereafter, what I'm going to share is like purely from my experience, how to do the work so that you can get it published. Now, nuances in journal selection, let us explore more. Now, when you look at that, there are a lot of journals available, but if you are not channelize your effort in a nice way, then you will have a lot of rejections. Okay, which means when we submit our paper, you may get a lot of rejection. Eventually, we will be demotivated after some time. Oh my God, I tried my level best, but I'm keep on getting my articles rejected. So what should I do, right? We really need to understand that. This is a picture. It tells a lot of story. What it tells? Department of Planning did not plan well. Department of Planning did not plan well. So you need to be very careful when you do a journal, and literature review is the key. Literature review is the key. You have to read the literature, derive your work, and then you look for the journals. And it is up to you if it is a small, garbage that is thrown into the dustbin, or you can have a creative activity and so on. Now, let us check some of the answers, right? Find the X. That is a question. And the children has written, right? So the answer here, it is X, right? Yeah, I ask, don't do any annotation. Please stop annotating. Okay, so this is the case. If it is there, then the faculty would have given 0 as the mark, right? Because the question is find X. The child has literally found where the X is, right? So next one, if you look at that, expand 2x plus y. And the child has literally expanded 2x plus y. again the teacher will give 0. The third one, the question is draw a plant cell and identify its most important parts. And the child has done a super work of, drawing a plant in the cell, and then, mark the important parts. But all these cases, the teacher will give a big 0. Why? This is another one classic example. Circle the smallest number. And the child is really puzzled with that. You see that the child got 0. Now, all these cases, if you look at that, why the teacher is giving 0? Can anyone tell that?
Irrelevant answer, sir.
Irrelevant answer. Any other?
Maybe the answer she is expecting not be null.
Yes. So that is not in line with the expected one. Am I right? So when you are expecting something and when you are giving something, you will get 0. And this is a case for the the question and answer in the exam. How come you prepare some manuscript and you are asking the journal to accept my paper? How the journal will accept? What is important? We really need to know what is expected from me. Understanding the expectation is very important. Without that, how strong you are banging the door. Actually, that is not the door, that is a wall. And you are banging the wall, even much harder, but you will not get the door open because that is not the door. That is the point. Understanding the expectation is very, very important. Now, the next question is, how do I know what is expected from me? Can anyone tell that? What is the expectations of the journal? We are going to have a separate session on day 10 on expectations from the editors, reviewers, and so on. But in general, how do you know what is expected from me when I write a manuscript? That is a question. That is a lingering question in our mind for a very long time, right? I tell you. First thing, take all these 7 premier publishing industry. Take snapshot or make a note of it. These 7 publishing industry publishes around 15,000 journals out of 38,000 journals indexed in Scopus. I sincerely urge you to go and pick the journal from these premier publishers so that the numbers that they proclaim in their website is like authentic and you can believe, right? But if you go for other publications, yes, there are a number of other good publishers publishing a lot of journals, but their numbers, you really need to do a research. Okay, so these 7 publishing groups, you need to look at it. Then, the important, how many pages should I write? I am from economics. How many pages I should write? Or I am from chemistry. How many pages I need to write? How many samples or how many analysis? What is the tool? Which method to choose? Qualitative, quantitative, or it's like exploratory study or a mixed method? What is that? What should be written first? Which journal should I target? What's the current relevance? Am I just, doing relevant work now? All these things we need to look at it. And how about the title? So we really want to have a role model. Where is my role model? If you pick a role model, it is easy for you to emulate, that particular person. Now, types of research. Tomorrow we are going to have a complete decode of all those things. We may think that we always have only to write the full-length article, which is having a title, abstract, keywords, introduction, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, reference, and so on. There are other aspects that you can think of. You can write letters, you can write a communication article, you can write case studies, you can write book reviews, you can write commentaries, you can write reports, you can write data sets, you can write software tools, you can write pedagogies, and so on. So, yeah, you can write different types. Tomorrow is that. The simple idea is read the literature and plan your research, not the other way around. I repeat, read the literature and plan your work. In a hurry-burry way, you plan your work and then you say that I have done a lot of work. My sample size is 5,000. No matter if you don't read the literature, your 5,000 samples are not that great, right? So when you look at the peer review, of course, we have a separate session on peer review, but just to give a glimpse that when you submit your article, the editor will assess your article. An editor may reject your article if it is not in their scope. So this we call that as an editorial rejection. And if the editor feels, okay, this paper looks really good, then it will be subject to a peer review where reviewers will do the assessment and then they will say that, okay, the revision is required or further review is needed. It is just going back to the author again work, again editor will look at that, what is that improvement in that. And then finally reviews will be assessed by the editor. Editor can say reject or accepted. And once it's accepted, it goes to the production and then finally published. So this is a complex mechanism and every paper should go through this. It will take minimum of 1.5 months to maximum of 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. The world record is 12 years. Now, I'm just giving one of the paper status. Somewhere else, where premier journals are giving some option, track your submission. Where is your article? Peer review status, this is the title of the paper. They sent review invitation to 2+, at least 3 people or 4 people, and nobody has accepted, nobody has completed. And this is on 13th May 2024 for my article. Now, another article that I submitted, you look at that, the paper is submitted on 28th April 2024. They sent review invitation 2+. One reviewer accepted the invitation to review and they have completed the review. So it is there. The other reviewer not accepted and the date is 8th. So 28th I submitted. Within 10 days, they sent my paper to 3 people to review. One person said yes and he has completed the review within 10 days. That is also there. So when you pick a premier journal, you can see the status of the paper. Okay. Now, what should I do? Fine. All these things are fine, sir. Predatory journals are fine and clone journals are fine. Now, what should I do? And I'm going to give 10 golden rules. That is for my personal experience. And this is the suggestion that many people would have asked in the feedback, like, I'm a beginner, kindly help me to kickstart the process. So the first thing, know your journals. If you are from computer science, you should know what are your journals. If you are from English literature and focusing on novels, you just think about that. What are the journals that are there? Without knowing journals, you should not start your research. Many people, from departments like commerce, computer science, economics, English literature, public administration, history, they said, please tell me the journal. You are from history, you are from commerce, you are from chemistry, you know or you should know your journals. How to find the journals? Go to Scopus, then type the journal, the domain name, find out and pick the journal. Once the journal is done, second step is read the aim and scope of the journal. For example, Journal of Networking. Which domain can submit a paper? Can anyone tell? Journal of Networking. Journal of
Computer Science.
Computer Science.
Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Technology.
Communication technology.
Yes.
Even
Economics.
networking.
Entrepreneurship.
Management. Yeah,
Entrepreneurship.
So if suppose you feel that, okay, I saw that the Journal of networking, that is like Journal of Networking related to medicine, networking related to the human resource management, networking related to artificial intelligence and computer science and technology, we do not know. Read the aim and scope of the journal. Every journal will have a point has like a column has like aim and scope. What we expect, what is our aim? Read that. If you do not read that, then you cannot do research. So the next one is clean through recent issues. I am not asking you to read any paper. Just scroll through the title. Because most often what happens when we do some research and then after some time we want to come back and start the research, then we will have the old mindset that what we did in our PhD, similar ideas, old-fashioned ideas, and then we'll see that, oh, what is a trend? If you do not know the trend, don't do the research. If you do not know the trend, don't do the research because it is very, very difficult to publish or convince the editor. So glean through the recent issues. Just read the title and see what is that in your mind, whether similar articles are there. Identify few journals. After going through the paper, sometimes, the journal is telling that Journal of Consumer Awareness. You feel, okay, I can do some survey and I can do, but that journal is for law. Without knowing that, you said consumer awareness, then you feel that, oh, I am from management, I can do some survey and I can just talk about consumer awareness. No, that journal is from the law. Then it is talking about the different international law for consumer awareness and so on. That may be the possibility. We do not know. So identify few journal from the total number of journals that you have. Then follow the literature. Now I am very carefully phrasing the word follow the literature. What is following the literature? You just go and re-click some of the articles and read the abstract. Is it like talking about the same way that what I'm thinking now? Maybe, may not be. Then just think about that. What is that? Right? So follow the literature. That is the step number 5. Then build keywords. This is very, very important. Why this is very, very important? Because when you read the recent literature, you will know the current trend. Otherwise, you will have your own way of putting things in front of people. For example, how many of you know work from home? Everybody would have known, right? But at least after COVID, everybody is very familiar with work from home. When an article is submitted with the behavior of people, like the impact of work from home on the psychological aspects of young women in Tamil Nadu. When the paper is submitted, the editor rejected the paper, asking a question, what is work from home? Then the authors tried to convey that, okay, during COVID, we will not go to the office. We are working from home. Then he said, oh, are you talking about remote working? We miserably failed because we are not reading the literature. Whatever we know, and we expect others to know. Let's say brinjal. Brinjal is an Indianized version, right? But if you go out of India, then it is called eggplant. Like that, there are many standard terms that are being practiced, outside the India. And if we are not reading the literature, we will fumble, and that is not good. So build keyword is very, very important. Once that is done, choose your time. Whether you want to write a journal article as a complete full-length article, or you want to write something on review, you want to write an opinion piece, you want to write a case study, or you want to write a report. Each of the type has its own genre. You cannot write something like, like a full-length article, 50 page I want to write and I want to submit for an opinion. No, opinion is only for 3 pages or 4 pages. Or I want to write a book review. Book review is also a publication. If I want to write a book review, I want to write it for 15 pages. No, only 5 paragraphs. Choose your type. Once your type is finalized, collect at least 5 research articles in that type from the journals that you picked. 5 research articles. And then decode it. What do you mean by decoding? How about the titles? How about the introduction? How many pages that articles are generally in your field? And how many tables that they have? How many figures that they have? How many references they have? How many hypotheses they have? Just decode it. And let us mimic. Let us emulate. Let us try to copy the style and then adapt to our context and write. By the way, if you are a beginner, then you will have a complete structure in your mind. We'll be taking a manuscript writing in a structured way in the coming days. I'm just telling that how to, imagine your manuscript even before doing your work. That is very, very important. If you have these 10, it's absolutely fine. And my success story is, I am in the Department of Chemistry, and I have been working with students in an outreach program called Service Learning. I'm taking students from Tamil Nadu to, Wayanad, and then our students turn into teachers and they do teaching the tribal students. And then we observe that the students are very happy. And then we see that, okay, this particular service learning science camp among tribals is a tool to capacity building among students. Then we wrote an article. It is a case study. And when we started writing, we are from chemistry. We do not know about theoretical framework. We do not know about survey. Somehow we did, and then we submitted our paper. It got rejected with a huge letter with all those points. We sincerely sat together we reworked and we published. Thanks to the 10 golden rule that I follow. This is another one. It is published like how I conducted practical during COVID. It is a challenge. How to do a practical, that too in chemistry, during the COVID time. So it was so popular in social media that one particular website from US, I gave the same exercise to my students. My student said, sir, this is not working, sir. This is like very childish. This has all these things, limitations and so on. Then I told them, can you give it in writing? And I just wrote this. My teaching is published. And this is about the MCC Research Colloquium. This MCC Research Colloquium, how we form as a community, virtual community program. This paper is very interesting because this does not have any data. This paper is having, only 5 paragraphs. This paper does not have any references. So no data, no references, and we three, like Dean of Research and Development, myself, and our principal, we wrote this article at the brink of COVID. At the brink of COVID, we all three were sitting different places. We wrote and we published. And this is another interesting one which I shared, about the clone journals. After realizing that, and then, I wrote, if you look at that, as a key member of the internal quality assurance, like IQAC, then IQAC is very common in Indian term, but others, they may not know, which is an integral part of academic institution in India, responsible for ensuring overall performance quality of education at institutional level. Okay, so the good definition that I have given for IQAC, it is recorded here in the literature. I can vouch for the difficulties faced by our faculty in selecting the legitimate journal for their research. To help our faculty and PhD students, more than 125 awareness programs are being conducted over the past 3 years through MCC Research Colloquium. So that has also been published, that has also been cited. So this I wrote. This is an opinion piece which I wrote it in 2 days. It's a single author. This was my 100th publication, and that was my only single author publication. So I said. So I would like to complete with certain strong statements that you really look at it. That is again from my personal experience. Number 1, say no to multidisciplinary. I sincerely urge you to say this. Say no to multidisciplinary. If you are doing in multidisciplinary, okay, it's fine. But 99.9% in India, people are telling multidisciplinary without understanding disciplinary. So say no to multidisciplinary. Opt for reputable publishers like Taylor and Francis, Sage, Wiley, Springer, Oxford Press, IEEE, ACS, RSC, Elsevier, and then premier other publishers. Please opt for reputable publishers. Say no to conference publications. If you are going to a conference, the conference should be an authentic conference, and through conference, if you can publish in UGC, through conference you can publish in Scopus. You have to be very careful if the conference is really operated by the standard premier body. Otherwise, you need to be very careful. Prioritize Scopus and Web of Science index journals, and non-indexed in my own way is equal to Day2. If it is a good journal, it will get indexation in Scopus and Web of Science. That is a 4th strong statement. Familiarize yourself with existing literature before formulating your research problem. So when you design your research work, you need to really read the literature. Again and again, I want to reiterate this point. Read the literature and then design the work. Don't design the work and go and look for some of the clues from the literature. No. If confident in your writing, plagiarism concerns need not trouble you. I have never ever checked my paper with plagiarism software because I never copied anything from anywhere. It is all my own writing. I never worry about plagiarism. Of course, we do have a session on plagiarism, and Dr. Chinamuthu will give complete comprehensive idea about plagiarism. But if you're confident in your writing, plagiarism will not trouble you. Expect the publication process to be a time consuming. Never ever think that I have a beautiful work and then I can get the publication done probably within Friday or within this month end or within one month or 2 months. No, it is a time consuming process. So you plan in plan well for your thesis submission and other things. Quality publications come at a cost. There are no cheap and best option. So if you really look at that, sir, any cheap and best publishing, if you really want to go for the quality publication, come at a cost, not the money. It demands your hard work. It demands a beautiful research gap. It demands the novelty. It demands a lot of work to be there. There are no cheap and best option. There is no, I have a limited data. Can I publish? If your novelty is there, don't worry about the data. If the data is huge, that is also good. Data is very small, that also publish. Okay, we can publish that. Stay informed about journals and current trends. You always go and read the journals. Stay in current trends. If you are taking something that, 1980 stuff or 2000 stuff, no longer, you are in that race. This is very, very important. Whenever you have option, you read the literature, you read the journal. What is a trend? If you are not updated, you are, outdated from the field. Stay informed about the journals and current trends. Very, very important. Finally, the 10th strong statement I would say, embrace opportunities to expand your knowledge. Embrace opportunities to expand your knowledge. You go and read the journals. When you start reading the papers, relevant papers, recent papers, your eyes will be wide open and you will really do a real science. When you do a real work, and the possibility of getting acceptance in premier journals is very easy. Okay. Even I have a lot of strugglings, even after publishing these many papers, still, I feel, I need to update. I need to work day and night. I need to be on my toes to get the paper done. So when embrace the opportunities to expand your knowledge. All these statements are my personal view. Therefore, I told initially, the tips that I'm going to give. All these things I personally followed over the years, and I really feel these things will be useful to you. So these are the 10 golden rules that I suggest. I'm going to conclude with this particular golden rule that is from one of the standard papers. Take a reader's view. Write for your audience, not for yourself. So always keep your audience in mind and write. Tell a story. Whenever you write something, you narrate in such a way that it should kindle the interest and it should give the curiosity, in the reader's mind. Oh, what is next? Be yourself. Write like you speak, then revise and polish. Write like you speak, then revise and polish. We don't want to use very hard words, very simple terms. The papers that I shared, you just go through and see that, how I have written that. Make it simple. Use very simple sentences. Avoid unnecessary jargons. Make it concrete. Okay? Just like we observe, very concrete. Make it very short. The sentence should be very short. Avoid redundancy. Be focused. And then to the point you write. Take responsibility on the shoulders. It said we observe, we identify, make strong statements that we concluded here that this is the case. Always acknowledge that, the limitations of the work, acknowledge the work of others through citations and so on. When you do all these things, you will come up with a beautiful paper. Of course, we have a separate session on manuscript writing where all these things, section by section, will be dealt in detail in the coming days. So I wish you to follow all these things, and the day will come where you will be really getting a paper done in an index journal and you will be jumping with joy. And I take this opportunity to thank you for your patient listening. And then I am happy to answer to your queries. You can also post your questions in the feedback link that will be there in the GCR. It is scheduled at 8:30. So you can give your questions tomorrow. Again at 6:30, I'll be appearing for the informal interactive session with you. You can also ask that. And we will be available. All the speakers will be available in the WhatsApp group for your questions, as well as you can post your questions in the GCR as well. We are happy to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for covering various aspects of journal selection and publication. And we found it very useful, sir. And participants, now the floor is open for questions. You can unmute and ask the resource person of the day any clarifications and questions that you have in the back of your mind.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So the session was very informative, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned about the ISSN number. How it's possible that clone journal will have a same ISSN number with the original?
Actually, that ISSN is not the original one. They just actually steal from the other journal. So they will not get the ISSN. They actually, steal the ISSN from others. They actually copy the ISSN and then they are using illegally.
Okay, they use it illegal, but it should shows that two journals having the same ISSN number.
No. The point is like, ISSN is taken from the original journal. So original journal with the original ISSN. And somebody is telling that this is like a duplicate.
Okay.
So it's a duplicate. Basically, clone journals are duplicate journals.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, one
This
at
is
a time.
Day2,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes. Devipriya, yes.
Sir, to begin with, should I select one journal, read its aim and scope, and then write paper accordingly, or should I select two, three journals my domain?
Yeah, in your domain, I tell you this exercise. In your domain, if you do not know 15 journals, you will be fumbling in completing a paper. In your journal, you should have 15 journals which are publishing similar articles. Okay? Or at least 5 journals. I said that. Because when you write a paper, when you read a lot of papers, then only you will get the grip over it. And the language and the flow and the way in which the ideas are being conveyed in your field is different from how we write in my field. So it is not only one journal, sir. I took only one journal. I want to exactly write that one paper. And then when you submit the paper to the journal rejected the paper, then what will you do? So my suggestion is you should know the expectations of the journals by and large in your domain. You are from which field, ma'am? Which
economics, sir.
Economics. So if it is economics, if it is a econometric or like, any particular domain, then you need to concentrate on that. I'm sure for every domain, you will have minimum of 20 to 25 journals. Minimum. If it is econometric, I'm sure that there will be 50 to 60 journals available. Pick the best 15 and then work it out.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
So this is Deepa.
Yes,
sir, like you have told, not to refer to journals dated back to 1990s and 2000s.
Yes.
But like if you are doing research in some Ayurvedic herbs or something,
yes,
you have a strong evidential.
No, you can, ma'am. You can refer 1970 paper or 1900 paper. But your work should not concentrate or revolve around only 1940, 1950. Then people immediately will ask, what is the relevance today? If it is relevance, if you are from Ayurveda and then I need to go back 15th century, if it is relevant, nobody will stop you. You go. But whenever, if it is from other domain, let's say I am from economics or I am from management studies and I am talking about the principle which is 1900. If it is relevant, it is fine. But if it is not relevant, people will ask that data is outdated. That concept is, eroded now. Why you are talking about that? In that aspect, I told. But if the paper is relevant, yes, you can do that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, we have to see the aim and scope of a journal, sir. But at the same time, they are asking for, they are giving announcement for call for papers.
Yes.
That time, they are giving other specification too.
Yes.
You have to give article in this area only.
Yes.
Do we need to concentrate that too, sir? Or can we concentrate only on aim and scope?
Ma'am, when you have a special call, it is like in
sir.
addition to the regular issue. So if suppose you are working, you are from which field, ma'am? Which domain?
Nursing, sir.
Nursing. Let's say nursing and psychology is a special call came, let's say, but you are concentrating on only nursing, right? Then in that journal, you have to submit your paper for the regular issue. If
Okay,
suppose you are working on psychology and then nursing, then you can submit your paper for that particular issue.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you should know that. So my suggestion for special call, right? I'll be touching that in the coming session as well. Special call comes with a deadline. Let's say the deadline is December 2025. Then those, morning, like the earlier someone asked that, how do you manage that? I will suggest that special call, design the work and give it to a student for a project, and then you'll have 6 months. Try your level best to complete and push it to the special issue, come what may. If it is accepted, it's great. So you will have a deadline and you have a specific focus and you can get the paper done. Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing, sir. Can you give detailed session on that publication with free of cost?
Ma'am, out of 38,000 in Scopus, 33,000 journals will not ask any money. You are looking at only the 5,000 journals. I am talking about 33,000 journals which are not demanding money. And yesterday I told that hybrid journals, big hybrid journals.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, very good evening. I didn't attend yesterday's session because of I didn't fill the application. But can you just give me a gist of it? What has happened yesterday? Today I just logged in.
Yeah,
Any, 1 minute or 2 minutes.
We will share.
I
the
also
recording.
went to a work sheet also. What has covered yesterday? I just went through it.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's possible.
So,
otherwise, no problem.
Yeah. So we will share the recording in the GCR, and then you have time till June 15 to complete all the assignments. So you can really take time and understand. But since you have asked, I have started with the recap of any journal you pick. You just look at that whether the journal is accepting paper within a short time, if it is indexed or not, and if they are charging you or not, and all these things. If you feel that the paper is accepted within 24 hours, 48 hours, they are all predatory. So yesterday, the whole day, we spent on predatory. Today, we spent on clone journal, and then some of the practical tips to identify the journals. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So there's a question like, can you tell whether this is a predatory journal? Kairos, a journal of Criteria Symposium. Please go and check, and then you can back to me. If it is open access, if it is charging, don't pick. That's my suggestion. But still, if you have a lot of money and then you really want to publish in open access, then you check the authenticity of this journal. Kairos, a journal of critical symposium. You can check. You want me to check now? You ask. Any other question, please ask. Otherwise, we can check it.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Dr. Gopal. So
Yes,
nice to you, sir. Thank you for the information.
Yes,
but in the premier publishers list, you have not mentioned that RSC and SCS.
Yeah, because it's very subject specific. So only few people from chemistry and physics. So I did not mention it. But of course, RSC and ACs are very premier for physics and chemistry.
You are a chemist, so you should.
But I don't want to be a biased one. I did mention about ACs and RSC when I speak, but I did not put it there.
So it's like a candle don't have light beneath it?
Which one? Sorry, sir?
Is it like candle don't have lighting beneath it?
No.
All around it.
Okay. I publish a lot in ACs and RSC. That's my first priority. Yeah. So it's like Kairos. This is a journal that one of the participants asked. We really want to know the authenticity. Let us just check that this is in Scopus or Web of Science, and then let us see. You check that if they are not giving any indexing, then better avoid. About the journal. Okay, you just click that about the journal. It's like flagship publication of the Postcolonial Studies Association of the Global Literature and so on. They've given a lot of title. Frequency. It's like publish a single issue per year. Increased to 2. Okay, so it's an open access. Let us check that the journal whether we can have. So we can go to this title. Kairos. So there is a journal called Cairo, but not the journal, I think. And it is like you see from 17 to 21 and 2023. After that, this journal is not publishing anything. And you see here, out of 4 years, 12 articles. And in the last 4 years, it is like only 5 documents. Let us check this particular Cairo, this journal symposium. Let us look at the archives. 2024. Let us check 2024. How many articles it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably 7, 8 articles. So this is not indexed. So let us avoid this journal. Because 7 articles is published in the year 2023. 5, 6 articles. But if you look at that here, there's only 5 articles. Here it is only 21 to 24, 12 articles. And this is not indexed after that. So it's actually discontinued. So let us avoid it. I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Okay. Sir, would you say that reading the latest journal articles and identify the gap or finding interesting points of research would be a good way to starting out with research and publishing? Both ways you can do, but I suggest read the research articles and get the gap. That would be really good. If you are experienced researcher, then the other way will work. Okay, how do we get access to standard papers, as that is the starting point? So standard papers, some of the papers are open access, or we will send it to our friends who are in abroad and get the paper to read. Now there are many people are sharing that in ResearchGate, social media, and so on. If you get it, you read. Otherwise, you get it from other people. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, the session is very nice and very eye-opening for us.
Yes.
So I had a doubt, like there is a journal called Indian Journal of Marketing.
Okay.
They are mentioning online ISSN and print ISSN.
Okay.
And you said a publication having too many journals, we need to consider. But this publication, I have too many journals, sir.
Okay. So you need to take a call whether that is indexed in Scopus and Web of Science.
Yes, it is indexed, sir.
Can you just share the link? If it is indexed, then you look at that the Scopus content coverage, how many papers that they are giving. You said it's like, what is the journal you said? Indian Journal?
Indian Journal of Marketing.
Okay, we will check that. Indian Journal of Marketing. You said that it's an indexed one. Let us check that. Marketing. Okay, Indian Journal of Marketing.
Don't waste your time for one book.
Yeah, please unmute us, please. Okay, so this journal, you see here, this is like publishing 173, and this is 150 documents for 4 years. So per year, how many documents you see? 150 for 4 years, probably 40 articles per year. You click the content coverage, you see here, 46 article in 2022, 45, 48, and 16. That is not too much. Did you see 500 articles per issue?
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
so it's good.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take 2 more questions and then we can wind up. The feedback link will be posted in the Google Classroom, please do check the Google Classroom. At 8:30 it will be posted. What is Google Scholar? What is its purpose? Google Scholar is a search engine freely given by Google. It will count all those papers that are in the digital domain, will not discern what is right journal, what is fake journal, if it is there, it will give that. Google Scholar indexed, whatever you write, it will be indexed by Google Scholar. So that is not the indexing agency. It's a search engine. Getting papers from Google Scholar, yeah, but it should be from Premier Journal.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, now with regard to experimental work, sir,
yes.
When we are looking at papers, we always, we tend to repeat the experiments which are given in the papers.
Yes.
Is it a right way to begin your experimental work, sir?
It is applicable to your domain. Then yes. if it is very obvious, then you don't want to repeat the work because they have done. But you just get the cues from them and then you can perform. You can perform similar studies, or if you have a doubt, yes, definitely you can repeat the experiment and then you can find.
Okay, sir, in those cases, how can we? Is it possible to find any research gaps while we are doing the experiments also?
No, you should find the research gap before doing the experiment.
Okay.
Without finding research gap, don't go to table work. That I will tell my students. Don't do any work unless you find a research gap and convince your guide. Suppose my PhD student is telling that, sir, I want to do this. I'll say, you convince me first with your logical idea, with your research gap, with your idea how to do. Then you go and do that. If you cannot convince me, you cannot convince the editor. You cannot convince the reviewer. So it is like I did a lot of work, I could not get publication, you will not get publication. Unless you find the research gap. Unless how others convince the work and then publish in the Premier Journal. Reading is very, very important. You have to derive your work. If somebody has done the similar work and then they publish, then it is meaningless to repeat the same.
Right. Okay. So that's like, it's quite complex, sir. In that way,
you wait because you are in the second day of this FTP,
even if we are progressive, sir, but even if we are reading, if we are thinking that we can do it in this way, and we just go to search if any previous work is done. The only reason to cite or to look out for procedures, how they have gone to do about, already some work has already been done, sir. In that case, how can we show some novelty in that, sir?
That is how you have to come up with it. If it is a novelty, in what way your work is novel? If you want to do the same thing what people have done already, then it is not called as a research. It is called as a practical. In practical, what you are doing in your post-graduation or undergraduation, whatever people have done, you are repeating and you are getting the same answer. And if you know that this is what you will be getting, the faculty members will tell that, no, this answer is wrong. You will get this, you will nicely get the curve and so on, which means that is practical. That is not research. Research is research. So you have to research.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yeah, we will give the score after June 15 and we will release the score. Definitely, we will take care of all those comments. Personally, we will go. Even feedbacks, we have gone through all the 202 people have given the feedback and we have given answers in the informant session. So we are very meticulous in handling our precious participants. Okay, so last question, we have 5 minutes to 8:30. Just check that. Indian Journal of Public Health, its a Scopus site score is different on journal, it's different. Check that website and authenticity. If it is wrong, then you need to really think about whether you are looking at the clone journal also. Research gap easier. You read, your research gap you can easily get. If you don't read, you will not get the research gap. That's my simple answer. Thank you for the critical.
Sir, I just want to know one thing, that for econometrics and for the economics, which journals are authentic or which journals are very much useful?
Since you mentioned that you did not attend yesterday's session, yesterday we have demonstrated that. I'm just sharing you for you. Just quickly, I can show you how you.
Sir, yesterday I have attended, but I forgot to.
Okay, so yesterday I showed that, right? So you have
have
attended.
shown that on Web of Science that there are 4 categories of
No,
arts
that's fine,
and.
sir. Now I'm showing that you see that.
Okay.
You want to see that econometrics, right? General economics,
Yes,
econometrics. Then these 3 things, you can just click that and apply. 1626 journals are there. You pick always Q1, I said. So Q1 and Q2, you can check, even though you are 1600. You apply that. You have 806 journals. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have 4 more minutes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for the wonderful session that you have conducted today, sir. Sir, actually, my doubt is, what is your opinion on taking a journal from Web of Science, which is not yet indexed, but it has ISSN? Can we use it that for our review of literature?
If you say ISSN, anyone can start ISSN journal. ISSN is not a metric.
Okay.
I repeat, if you say ISSN, anyone can come up with a journal with ISSN. So never ever quote that ISSN. Like LKG student can get ISSN. So that is not the metric. I am talking about indexing. This is a problem. After attending all these things, you are still telling ISSN. That's not good. That's not fair. Yes.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Just telling that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So there's a specific question like, if you follow methodology of preparation of medium of transfer in antimicrobial activity using compound, will it be acceptable? If you are repeating the same, no, it will not be acceptable. But if you are doing something and you are getting something different, logical, yeah. You read paper, I think I'm talking to Aruna. Yeah, you read paper, you will get a lot of ideas. Yeah, thank you. I think we have 2 more minutes. Probably take 1 question and then we can wind up. Dr. Sam, do you have any special announcements? One announcement is whatever the email ID that you are using to fill the feedback form and the assignment, keep using the same email ID so that your attendance will be counted. It is easy, right? Same email ID you use for filling the form, filling the feedback and filling the assignment. Okay, so
you should take the Day2 snap, sir.
Yeah. Yes, please turn on your camera and then just, take a snap. It'd be great. You can turn on the camera for a group pic. Thank you. Nice to see that all. Yeah, once it is done, please, Dr. Sam, let us know.
I think mine is disabled. You have to turn it.
No. People can turn
Video,
on the
no,
camera.
sir? Yeah.
Yes, you can turn on. Yes, now you are out. Yeah, Dr. Sam, you can say finish. Yes.
Done, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you tomorrow at 6:30. And for the informal interactive session, I'll be joining, but the session will be starting at 6:45. And tomorrow we have Dr. Hanumanth Rao, and he will be dealing with different types of horticulture. See you then. Good night. Bye.